Decided on Saturday, with the leading trio looking relaxed in the early morning service despite the small gaps at the front. It was soon time to resume the fight on the final 6 stages. The warm sunny conditions continued into the last leg with a more urban feel to the route. Wider flowing roads awaited, so a slightly different driving style required in this fight to the finish. What hadn't changed was the pace of the Spanish Championship front runners. Former leader Alejandro Cachon was down in 17th after his Friday tyre damage, but had been on a flyer since. His Toyota driver climbed into 6th by the end of Saturday morning. The Spanish Championship leader, Jose Antonio Suarez, meanwhile, had belatedly found a more rapid rhythm. There was a spin early in the 28-kilometre stage 9, following Diego Rueda for 4th despite that delay.
Jose, I heard there was a brief stop in there. How was the stage? You were third fastest.
I'm completely stupid. I did a spin in the first roundabout, so Canarias for me is always make a spin, but anyway, I'm happy with the time. I have to put the reverse, I lose time, but keep pushing.
A pair of stage wins to start the day would provide the strapping Spaniards behind who was boss of the island, but he continued to edge away from his compatriot.
It's perfect. The car is perfect. The team worked well this night because they work on the night on the computer, so they know what is the best solution for the setup now. And I think I have this. So thanks to everybody, and we will continue like this. It's a good look for this morning for us.
The margins, though, remained tight with less than 7 seconds between the Frenchmen, and it had all bunched up behind with only 7.8 between Padden in 3rd and Cachon in 6th. The scene was set then for a gripping fight to the finish through the magnificent mountain roads of Gran Canaria. Just 3 stages remained in the sunshine of Gran Canaria. A thrilling fight for top honours in the main ERC class, and catching action in the support categories too. There have been an exciting sprint for top honours in the ERC 3 class. Igor Dillak hunting down Karen Kazaz of the final day from half a minute down to a fast win for the Polish driver. We had an all-French fight at the front in the main ERC category, but in the juniors and ERC 4 two-wheel drive competition, it was a Swedish 1-2. Kalle Karlberg had been chasing down the leader since stage 2, but was set for a 2nd place result on his 2nd junior ERC outing. But there was just no catching his compatriot Mille Johansson. The 19-year-old had taken the lead in stage 4, and after a stunning run that saw him claim 7 stage wins in a row, it would be a first ERC junior victory for the Opel Corsa driver to give him the championship lead after 2 rounds. With an impressive third...
Eso no se come, ¿vale?
Lo que se cuece en casa empieza en la cocina. IKEA.
Voy a llevar una manita de esto. Ya, la mamá viene ahora.
two cars starting, the 15-point scoring places would be keenly contested over the last few stages. Simon Wagner is a proven ERC podium finisher on asphalt, but the three-time Austrian champion had struggled to match the searing pace of the front runners. With set-up improvements made, though, the Skoda driver was up to 11th. After three podium finishes in a row in Gran Canaria, Efren Arena had hoped for much more. Unable to dial his father into these winding roads, the former champion had started the final leg down in 16th. The late recovery saw the Spaniard fight back into the top 10. Matt Osberg had missed the opening round through illness, so he too had to start his season. With a brake balance issue through much of the rally, the Citroen driver eventually resolved the problem to hold 8th place. John Armstrong, though, had shone at what was his rally to tarmac debut, briefly in 5th on Friday. He had slipped behind the local stars, but remained set for a personal best 7th place finish, despite a final. And there was no let-up in the scrap for glory between our three Spaniards, with Hayden Padden fading. This was now a fight for the final podium place. Alejandro Cachon claimed his 5th fastest time in the penultimate stage to move within 0.2 of a second of Jose Antonio Suarez. What a finale we had in store. Bonato led by only 3.7 seconds from Franceschi, and with only 0.4 of a second between the three Spaniards, it was too close to call. Padden slipping to 6th. So it would all come down to the end.
Yeah, not the result we wanted, but I can tell you it's not from a lack of trying. But hats off to everyone, like, you know, the three Spanish guys have been going incredibly fast. Obviously, Francesca and Bernardo as well. So, yeah, we haven't had a bad weekend, but when you look at the result, it makes it look bad. So, yeah, I think it's a credit to the championship.
The fight between the Spanish Championship front-runners had been a joy to watch. Just 4 attempts separated the fired-up trio, remember. Diego Ruiloba found one last burst of speed in the power stage to beat Padden by 2.9 seconds and lay down the early benchmark. Former leader Alejandro Cachon was next. The 25-year-old was down in 17th after dropping 40 seconds with his Friday puncher, but this had been an incredible fight back. The Toyota driver notched up 6 stage wins over the weekend, and with a time 2.5 seconds quicker than Ruiloba, it was over to Suarez.
It was amazing rally. The team Teo Martin Motorsport did an incredible job. The car is amazing. Any problem all of the weekend, and it's amazing.
Jose Antonio Suarez started this final stage in 3rd, but that inspired late charge from Cachon would prove too strong. The 33-year-old 5.8 seconds slower to slip from 3rd to 5th, with the end in sight. Out front, though, the two flying Frenchmen had continued their own stunning fight to the finish. After sharing the penultimate stage win with Cachon, Maciej Franceschi came into the power stage just 3.7 seconds behind the leader. His last blast wasn't enough to beat the Spaniards' benchmark, but would it be enough to take the win?
Absolutely no word, it's amazing. We don't expect to be at this place in Canada on tarmac, because I need to learn everything on tarmac. So just thank you to my team, thank you to everybody around me.
Johan Bonato had led for most of the rally, but was made to fight right down to the finish to hold off his fellow Frenchman. The early splits were slower, but the Citroen star would maintain his grip on the top spot. The 5-time French tarmac champion making yet another eye-catching cameo in the European Championship to claim back-to-back Rally Islas Canarias victories alongside co-driver Benjamin Ballou for his 3rd ERC win. It was a power stage win for Cachon, Ruiloba 2nd, with Franceschi, Bonato and Padden also getting a bonus to their overall score.
We did a good job. The mechanics worked well. The car was perfect. Hi again, everybody. My family, my mother is here. So that's perfect. Second victory. Why not perfect? We are very so happy, and thank you my team, thank you everybody.
Bonato took the win by only 2.8 seconds from Franceschi. Cachon with arguably the drive of the weekend to snatch his first ERC podium on the last stage. Roll over 4th and Suarez in 5th. Padden settling for 6th. And those back-to-back podiums see Franceschi take the lead in the championship standings. Padden moves up to 2nd. It had been one of the most competitive ERC rounds in recent memory, and a fitting effort for Rally Islas Canarias ahead of its World Championship next year. Congratulations again to Bonato, and the ERC returns for a second visit to Sweden's Scandinavian Rally.
Mira, se pone loco. Loca, mira la vaina. Abuelo Barba.
Sandra, ven acá a mi sala.
Mira, abuelo, mi amor. Mira, no se le ríe, qué bella, nuestra abuelita. ¿Yo voy a Sandra?
Sandra, vamos a ver hoy.
¿Tu abuelo, mi amor?
Shall we get going again on the very next stage? It is the middle stage, Tejeda, which is just over 11 kilometres in length. And we have still remaining fantastic battles on our hands right the way through, again, the top 20. I'm just keeping an eye on things as the drivers make their way through the first stage of the loop. And Martin Sesks has just completed on what is stage 5 overall. He's had a quick chat with Pete Mackay at the stage, and he does feel a bit happy and something. Few changes at service and feels far more positive. So that's good, getting into another 2 stages. A reminder on your screen as I chat away then of the road order and the way the drivers are heading out onto the stages. For Friday afternoon, we wanted to say Saturday, but it's definitely Friday, Saturday rally here at Rally Islas Canarias. And of course on Thursday, you joined us for the super special stage. A reminder then of the way things stand in the overall classification with Johan Bonato out front, but only had 9/10 of a second. Hayden is 10.8 off the lead. Diego Ruiloba 3.5 behind podium. Sean Armstrong's 10th of a second behind 4th right now. Mika Marchik 1.6 behind Armstrong. Jose Suarez just 8/10 second behind Marchik. So it's still super close throughout the top 10. You can go further back than Suarez and Osberg in 8th. He's only 1.9 behind Suarez. Lemez is 2.5 behind Osberg. Excise 2.2 behind Lemez. I can keep going. It's close. Let's just say that, shall we? Let's round it up nicely and say it's still really close out there. Now, the second stage that we saw earlier is kind of similar in nature to the first. In fact, it's trailing around the hillsides, narrow in sectors. Didn't see too many cuts in this one. It is this morning that we did see the incident for Miklos Shimos,
Toma.
which I know we looked back on in the studio already.
It was a pretty big crash actually, and we know that we have some very strong cars nowadays, and the structure protecting the crews. The proper seats, of course the hand system that has been introduced since from 2005, 6, I would say. We have a really strong level of protection inside the car nowadays. Of course, we still need to continue pushing in this way. This is this corner exactly where.
So he went into that house there. He just veered off to the right and straight into it, head on. But both crew, were able to get out of the car okay. They headed off to hospital earlier on today for precautionary checks, which is standard procedure when you have an impact of that size.
Yes, because sometimes, with adrenaline, under pressure, or with the stress, you get out of the car and you don't feel the pain, or you don't want to feel the pain,
Of course.
And maybe you have a battle rod that is broken or something very important, so yeah.
Everything needs to be checked as a precautionary measure, but yeah, it was a very strange incident, but we are sending our thoughts with them. We're glad they are, you know, okay. That's the most paramount thing.
Definitely, this is not a place that is Rally Canarias where Cosmos has a
No, last year was a big accident. This year again, it's not been the luckiest of islands for him, unfortunately. We're keeping an eye on the junior category as they make their way through on the previous stage. And any news to report we'll bring you as soon as we can. We don't have a stage end reporter at the end of this one, so we'll be chatting to all of our drivers at the end of the final stage with Seb Scott.
Yes, sometimes when you watch the mountain on the left and this big rift, you understand that it might not be easy for the journalists, the reporters to reach the stage on time, because you have only one road, and this one is used by the rally cars actually. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe it will be interesting just to make an entry list to entry the reporters to rally cars. Actually, Seb Scott had many offers this morning.
Yeah.
He has already 2 seats available.
Martin asked him whether he would like to drive. Who else asked him?
Says no.
Oh, would it was Size as well?
No, I don't remember, but
maybe.
Two drivers to swap the jobs.
The doctor has the lead right now, but it's a slim lead. 9/10 of a second. Right now, today, we've seen the lead change on every single stage so far. Will it change again on this one? Donato stole it from Padden first thing this morning. Franceschi stole it from Donato on the middle stage, and then Cachon stole it from Franceschi on the third stage. And unfortunately for Alejandro Cachon, he had some tyre damage in the previous stage, and he's dropped down the standings. And Donato has taken the lead back. So it's changed on every single stage so far.
A tu amiga, qué sé yo, tía. A tu cosa, a tu móvil. Tu mierda, qué sé yo, tía. No lo veo. Maldito ojo a mierda, me dejaba esta tía mía aquí en mi casa, tía. So. Ojo a mierda, tía.
¿Aquí no tienen chupete por ahí?
No sé.
Quiere dormir esta niña.
Como sí que lo sé.
Como la tengo.
Afuera. Venga, venga. Afuera.
How much information does Donato know?
¡Pase! ¡Pase!
Is it a lot of
No,
information?
maldito abajo, dentro de mi casa, coño.
No, this is, I would say, the average level of informations.
Okay.
But the fact is that we don't have any camps there. This is where we had probably